Hello everybody and welcome back to Cat's Monthly Movie Reviews. It's me and QJ.
I can see Cat's face!
That is just horrible to listen to on all accounts. We're testing out having video calls while we record, just so you can't see it, but that's what QJ's talking about. Just so that we can not talk over, like if we're talking over each other, we can see. Because one of the problems we have when we record is
constant
one of us will be talking
and delays.
Literally, we're still doing it. It doesn't fix it.
No.
We're still doing it. It's fine.
Whatever.
If you're wondering what happened to QJ's show this month, unfortunately, we recorded it and then we lost the audio, and we were too heartbroken to re-record. So there's gonna be an extra long one next month.
That was a sad day.
It was mostly us yelling at each other about Iron Man 3, though. So
it was
kind of fine.
Pretty funny. I mean, maybe it's okay that recording is gone with the wind.
Lost to time, like our friendship.
It was a lot of sad, mean yelling.
Yeah, it was probably the most arguments we've had, which is a shame because I think it was legitimately funny, but we've lost it.
It's nice
that
our friendship can withstand that much evil.
Because QJ's computer decided to record in double speed, and I'm just gonna we tried to like slow it down to normal speed. I'm just gonna play you a snippet of how it ended up sounding right here because it's friggin' hilarious. So roll that now. So yeah, that's horrible.
That's ridiculous.
So we could have had a whole episode with that, but we decided not to, thankfully.
No.
But yeah, this month is my movies. This is an episode. This is a show where every month I watch a bunch of movies. I watch as many as I can. I've been really busy this month because I'm making my own film. I'm making a short film at the moment.
Yay!
So I've been real busy. Like I've had to arrange all that. I've been like finishing my script, auditioning actors. Oh, it's going so well. I'm shooting it soon. Hopefully it'll be good.
That's awesome.
Hopefully, yeah. So
you will be successful.
I haven't had that much time to watch movies, but I've watched a few. I've watched
Me too.
6, 7, maybe.
That's not bad.
So it might be a shortish episode, but I feel like some of these we're gonna get a lot of conversation out of. The first one we probably won't. The first film on this list is Baywatch, which I saw at the start of the month. It's okay. It's fine.
They were making a Baywatch
plot.
movie. That's with The Rock, right?
Yes, The Rock's great in it. It's funny enough. Like it kind of bumbles about with like just stupid jokes, and it's good at that. It knows what it is and it plays to its strengths. You know, it's about attractive people trying to help, but they're kind of like not supposed to be because they're not the police.
Yeah,
and the police get mad at them, and they're.
Is it kind of a parody on the old Baywatch show? Just like how ridiculous it is?
It's a bit meta. Like they do kind of lampshade a few things. Like the Rock's character is the same character, or he's got the same name as Hasselhoff's character, but Hasselhoff's character shows up as his mentor. But they've got the same name, and it's like, what, is this a reboot or is this a sequel? It doesn't make sense, but like it doesn't need to because it's just stupid.
So it kind of knows what it is, and it's just hamming it up.
Like it has issues with its plot, but it's funny enough. Like it's okay. I wouldn't recommend it. Out of all the films that are in the cinema at the moment, or that were in the cinema at the start of the month, I wouldn't have recommended it to anyone. I would have been like, it's fine if you've seen everything else that's out. Like, it's funny enough. It's got some goofy moments. Yeah.
All right.
It has a big problem with like fat shaming comedy that I'm really against, because I think pointing fun at overweight people is just cheap, and it's been overdone to this point.
Yeah.
Like it's not like a triggered thing with me so much as it's just a like it's not funny anymore.
You could do a lot better.
Yeah, and it's unnecessary in this film because the whole film is about like these really overly attractive characters. Like Dwayne Rock Johnson has all these muscles, and Zac Efron's got he's like ripped and stuff, and like the jokes come from like them being like just these overly buff kind of like stereotype characters sometimes. And there's this one character who's like the tech guy, and he tries really hard, but he's kind of overweight, and like some of the jokes with him are really funny. Like there's one where Zac Efron is just being a complete idiot, and the juxtaposition of those two characters, like the smart guy, funny guy thing, really works. But then there's like, they do the classic Baywatch running in slow motion shot, and then the joke is that they pan to the overweight guy, and that's just the joke. And it's just like, this isn't funny though.
No.
Why bother? Because there were some genuinely intelligent, funny... I mean, they weren't intelligent, but they were like intelligently written dumb jokes in the film. that worked, and that isn't. It's just cheap, and
Yeah.
it just feels like why bother? It just brings the whole thing down a little bit, but otherwise it's an okay film. It's fine. It's pretty nothing.
All right, whatever.
The next film
Forgettable.
is a film that there are two films this month that demonstrate a phenomenon that I like to call. I don't have a name for it. I was going to come up with a name for it on the fly, but then I couldn't. But the phenomenon where everyone tells you a film is one thing, it's not that. Like, it's almost that. Like, so for example, a film later on in the month, everyone said was really bad, but it's an okay film, and I enjoyed it more than I would have if I'd heard nothing about it. I would have just been like, this is an okay film. But because I heard it was bad, I was like, this is pretty good. I enjoyed it way more than I would have if I'd
Lowering
heard
your
good things.
expectations.
Yeah. Whereas with Wonder Woman, everyone was like, 98% on Rotten Tomatoes. This is the best film ever. 100% greatest film of the year. And I'm like, I mean, it's pretty good, but it's not. And I get what it means to a lot of people, and it's inspirational to a lot of... No, I'm not saying it's a bad film. I really enjoyed it. But I don't think it's like people are saying like it's a 98 on Rotten Tomatoes and stuff, or like it's like a 10 out of 10.
Are freaking out because it's like one of the first good DC films to come out in a really long time, and everyone's just really proud and excited.
Yeah, no, I'm with that, and I'm totally with, like, I get that it means a lot, so much to, like, a lot of women, and it means so much to be represented in film. Like, I mean, if they made a really kick-ass, like, film with a trans superhero, and it was, like, as good as this, I would be like 98 on Rotten Tomatoes, best film ever, I love it. You know,
well, I mean,
like,
that's why Danish Girl was, like,
get it.
your, like, second favorite movie last year, you know?
Yeah. Like, I totally get it, and I get why it's overhyped. I'm not complaining about that, but I think it's a good movie. It's a solid movie, but I don't think it's, like, the best film ever, like some people are saying. Like,
I agree.
It's solid.
I totally get it.
I really enjoyed it. But I think, you know,
I feel like it
just
kind of deserves to be overhyped for how bad DC's been, and for... Like, we finally have, like, a female director coming in and being like, hey, guys, you can do a good job if you just do it like this. Like, it's not that hard.
Up until the point where, spoilers, there will be a spoiler tag right now, go to that timestamp, whatever. It's all well and good having the female director who did a great job and everything, until the third act, when said female director ditches her own directing style for action and decides to, instead of directing the final fight as cool as all of the other fight scenes, she just randomly says, let's make it a Zack Snyder fight scene. That'll be good. No. I hated that final fight. Was like the worst thing. Because it looked like a Zack Snyder fight. Everything about it. Ugh.
Which is, you're right, because the first, like the first third of the movie, where they're like doing all their, like, you know, Matrix, Kung Fu, slow motion, like really awesome Amazon fighting techniques. It's like
really well done.
I was like sucked into the movie at that point. I'm like, this is amazing! Like they're warriors!
Like, the beach scene, fantastic, beautifully directed action. The war scenes, like the one where she, like, kicks, like, she's running through that town to, like, save the townspeople. Those scenes are awesome. When she, like, jumps in the window and, like, there's one shot where, like, and it's in the trailers, but where she, like, kicks a guy out of a window and then jumps after him.
Yeah.
And, like, it's slow-mos of, like, a side shot of, like, him flying out of the window and her, like, coming after him with her knee out, like, she's, like, just kicked him through this window. Amazing shot.
I have
really
to watch
good action
this movie
filming.
again. It was so much fun to look at.
Yeah. Yeah, until that final fight scene where it was just Zack Snyder directing...
Well, the one thing I liked about the final fight scene
so
was she did the thing that they kind of, what was it? That they kind of foreshadowed, where she put her arms up and, like, crossed her arms
the double
and
dab.
did the, like, you know, like, I have magical bracelets and they're gonna make you explode move.
Yeah. Yeah, well,
like, I think
liked
that was
a lot
the whole
of,
point,
is,
like, that she was able to defeat him because she was, like, protecting, like, people she loved and, you know, a cause that she cared about.
Yeah. I really like the way it portrayed war. Like, the human beings, like Ares wasn't controlling people. He was just putting the idea in their mind. Human beings are a morally grey thing.
Ares was,
and
like,
they are prone to do that.
Personified
really
representation
cool.
of, like, the darkness that's in a lot of people. It's not that he was evil. It was that it was just a personified representation, which makes sense if you're going to make a movie and put Greek mythology in it, or mythology in general, because in this universe where mythology and gods exist, and you're going to have to write in that they do the things that mythology says that they do, which is like influence humans and whatnot. But yeah, I loved the story, and I loved the way the morals came across. It felt like a mix between the first Captain America movie and the first Thor movie.
Yeah, that totally. I've been saying that since the first trailer. I was like, that's what that's going to be, and that's not a bad thing. Those are two good movies.
Yeah,
like, I hate when people are like, I hate when people take that as like an insult. That's a great thing.
Who takes that as an insult?
Don't have to be DC fans. DC fans are always like, no, it's completely different to Marvel because it's edgy. But it's like, no, why is it a problem to be compared to two good films? I don't see why that's an issue.
Well, and it's not even, it doesn't even have to be compared to Marvel. It's like you're taking an origin story mythology movie and then a World War II movie where someone's like, I hate war and I have to stop this. And it's like, it doesn't even have to be separate whatevers.
But I thought, I mean, I could pick apart this film. I could like easily just tear down like a lot of stuff. Like the child Diana, get out. Child actress, bad. Get rid of it.
Was she?
Cut those scenes.
I don't even remember.
Yeah, she was just so awkward. And like stuff like that. But I want to sing its praises because my God, there were some really cool things in this film. Like when they were doing the exposition stuff, telling you about the gods at the start, the like moving painting situation, that was cool as. That was so cool. I really liked I've already said I really liked all the fight scenes, apart from that last one. That last one was trash. Because it was directed like a Zack Snyder fight. Hate that. Zack Snyder sucks. Anyway, I really liked the fact that they didn't tell you it was Ares in the it was obvious, right? But in the trailers, you never see Ares. You never see anything. You barely even see Dr. Poison or the Nazi guy. You barely, not Nazi, it's World War One, but the German guy. You barely see any of the villains in the trailers, which is a problem I have with a lot of marketing campaigns. Is you see everything before, like. If they cut the trailers like they'd cut the BVS trailers, you would have seen Ares in the trailers and we would have known. It was obvious because, like, war movie, Wonder Woman, God of War, obvious. Like, everyone predicted it, but we hadn't seen him. So for the whole thing, I was thinking, they've been talking about Ares for this whole film. What if there isn't an Ares? What if it is just humans the whole time? And I was like, I genuinely, up until the point where he revealed himself as Ares, I was like, oh my God, what if I was... Because the whole time I've been thinking, like, maybe there just isn't an Ares in this film.
And yet it turns out it was kind of both. Because Ares does exist, but it is still just humans being humans.
Yeah, and I didn't know what was going to happen until the last minute. And I thought that my theory was going to come true, and then it didn't. And I was like, it just wasn't predictable in that way. And I really loved that. I thought it was great. One nitpick I do want to bring up is that they should have cut every single scene with They couldn't because she's the only other female character not in Themyscira, but the secretary woman was like the least funny comic relief I have ever witnessed in my life. Every scene with her could just be straight up removed.
I hate that Diana just like gave her sword and was like, protect it with your life. I'm like, you trust her? She's gonna drop it down like a drain.
I just hated that dress sequence. Why we gotta have a dress trying on scene? Why was that necessary at all?
I don't know. I thought it was funny.
Get rid of it.
Because she kept like ripping them up.
I found none of that funny. I was just like, can we skip this, please? Get back to this film being good.
I don't know. To me, it was just like, okay, Diana, like, let's make you into a real lady and be proper so that you can walk around and pretend you're invisible. And she's just like, no, I want to kick stuff.
Yeah. Well, I kind of figured that I already knew that about the character. Like, they'd done enough telling me that Diana's awesome and not a traditional lady type that they didn't need those scenes to, like, hammer it in, you know? I didn't need to see her not want to wear a dress to know that she doesn't want to wear a dress.
I guess.
That just...
That's fine.
I don't know. But no, there was a lot I liked about it. I really liked that Steve Trevor did the Captain America fly a plane into the distance thing. The whole time that scene, when he flew off, I was like, in my mind, my internal monologue was just going, don't fly into the ocean, don't fly into the ocean, don't fly into the ocean. Because if he had flown that plane into the ocean, my God, the Captain America parallels it's too much.
Too much.
But thankfully, he did something cool with it.
And then there would have been something with like Poseidon bringing it back.
Well, Poseidon just rocks up like, hey, I'm here. No,
and speaking of that, I loved that they
just appeared.
Okay. I loved that they kept like Wonder Woman's original like origin story in there where she believes that she's like molded from clay and that like, you know, she doesn't have a father because you don't, you know, need men to make people or whatever. And then they're like, nope, Zeus is your dad. And she's just like, ah, why?
Because isn't the Zeus thing the New 52? Like when they rebooted it for the New 52, they made it Zeus, but originally it was the clay thing. So I like that they reference both of those and they bring both of them in. I thought that was really cool.
Well, because in the New 52, like her mom tells her like, yeah, I molded you from clay, and then they're like, just kidding, I slept with Zeus,
neat.
and she's like, dang it.
Nice.
But yeah, I was just like smiling through that entire movie, and I know when I'm just grinning through a whole movie, I have to give it its credit. Man, I want to watch it again. It was a good film.
I would, but
she did a wonderful job.
There's better films coming out soon. Like, oh my god, Baby Driver comes out today. Oh my god.
I'm actually a little intrigued.
Film, for anyone who doesn't know.
By that film, that guy.
It's Edgar Wright. Oh. Edgar Wright makes good films. Just fact.
What else has he made?
Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. The whole Cornetto trilogy.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. I think I feel like we talked about this last month. So he worked with Simon Pegg?
Yeah, he co-wrote and directed the whole, like him and Simon Pegg wrote the Cornetto trilogy, and then Edgar Wright directs them. And Edgar Wright, I was watching the behind the scenes for The World's End the other day, and Edgar Wright is like this extreme perfectionist, and he has to have every take like exactly right, and it shows in his like filmmaking. He's just so good. Also, Spider-Man Homecoming
trailer
soon, so
for Baby Driver, and like he's not like deaf or hard of hearing, right? But he's got like a ringing in his ear constantly.
Yeah.
But I feel
like tinnitus.
There might be something in there about like maybe some sort of connections to like deaf culture or something, or maybe there won't be. But like because of that, I was kind of interested because for those of you who don't know, I studied that for like 3 years in college, so I was like, oh, interesting. Yeah. Let's see where that goes.
I'm excited because of the way it's cut together. Like if you look at that trailer, the way the snappy cutting to sound and all of that is just so beautiful to me.
Hopefully
the way Edgar Wright does that is so
people who made
perfect.
the trailer are similar to the people who made, the movie.
Well, the way Edgar Wright directs stuff to be cut like that. You can see it in like Hot Fuzz and Shaun of the Dead, like in The World's End a lot. Like he makes sure things can get cut like that. So in theory, that will be in the film.
Cool.
And it's exciting. Anyway, actual movies that I've seen, not ones I'm excited for now. Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales, or Salazar's Revenge, as it is called in my country.
Salazar.
Why is it called Salazar's Revenge? That is such a dumb title. Yeah,
probably so that
Salazar's
you could remember that bad guy's name, because you couldn't understand anything he said. And all the times that he said his own name, it was like, I speak Spanish. Sorry, I'm like being racist towards like Spanish accents, but I couldn't understand a word that guy said.
I could,
that's why
but
he
I can
died.
see, yeah. Our title is stupid because it implies that, like, you know who Salazar is. It's like you're supposed to get excited for Salazar's Revenge, but it's like, no, I don't know who Salazar is, though. Why is that in the title? Whereas Dead Men Tell No Tales makes sense as a title. Like, it's a bit ham-fisted because they say the line a few times in the film, but it works as a title, and it's a like, well-known pirate phrase, you know? Like, it just... Why did
so what did you think of the movie?
I didn't like it that... I thought it was fine, right? It was okay.
Sure.
And I think I had the same... This isn't the one that got overhyped for me this month. That's the next one. But this one, I think, did get a little bit overhyped because I was told before going in, like, there's really good action set pieces. The first action set piece is amazing. And it was okay. It wasn't,
I didn't see it as an action piece. I saw it as a comedy piece. Like the bank scene and the scene where Jack is almost getting guillotined and he's like swinging around on that thing.
Okay, that shot, I was amazing.
Laughing so hard. I don't think I've laughed out loud in a movie theater before. And like Spiegel was sitting right next to me the whole time, and I guess he couldn't hear me laughing because he had just gone to a concert the day before and his ears were ringing. So he thought it was like someone else in the theater laughing. But oh my gosh, I was cracking up.
Yeah, no, that guillotine shot is honestly the best part of that entire film. Like, it's so good. It's so well shot and it's so well done. And Johnny Depp's face works perfectly. But I'm going to go spoilers here. So there'll be a timestamp on screen. You guys know the drill. Just as we always do on this show. Spoilers here. I just thought the overall plot was kind of dull. Like, it became really predictable and play by numbers. And people have said, oh, that's not a problem. It's about the journey and getting there. But I thought... the way they got everywhere was just like they sail for a bit and then they're there, and every now and then there's like a kind of cool action thing.
I mean, you know me, like I'm always happier when things are easy to follow. Because I'm not that smart. So when the plot is simpler, I'm like, oh, I get it. Good. But I loved the reference to Galileo, and I don't know, I didn't like prep my thoughts on this movie at all, but I definitely liked it. It was way better than the fourth Pirates movie.
I'm not saying it was worse than the fourth Pirates movie. The fourth Pirates movie is one of the worst movies I've ever seen. Don't get me wrong. I enjoyed this movie. It was fine, but I feel like the thing with having a predictable kind of play-by-numbers story is I have to be having enough fun during it to not care or notice. And in this, I was noticing. I was just going, okay, so I know where this is going. You know, the whole time I was like, meh, they're going to get a big trinket, and then they're going to destroy the big trinket, and then it's going to be the end, and Salazar's going to die, whatever. There were no surprises. I was like, they're not going to kill Jack. I was hoping they would. I was desperately hoping they were going to kill Jack and then start again with a new character or something. But then it's just so obvious that it won't happen.
He's the hero. He's going to be there the whole time.
Yeah.
I mean, so when I was watching Pirates 5, I was just I felt like I was like decades earlier when people would go to the movie theaters and watch these old classic action movies that have like 8 sequels, and it's always the same hero, and they have their actiony fun, and everyone's just like woohoo at the end, and it's like, you know, it's not a big brain teaser. It's just you go to the movies, and because people back then would go to see the same movie like 6 times, because you wouldn't really buy movies for your home and you couldn't rent them. So going to the movies and having fun was just what people did. And so movies were put out that were just like, here, have some fun for an hour and a half, and it's not going to be a big deal. And that's how I felt when I was watching this one. I was like, here I am, just having a little bit of fun. It's cute. It makes me giggle. It's silly. And I didn't have much to complain about. Like, nothing was really like ruined or overdone. I felt like it was unnecessary that they kissed at the end, but because the 2 main characters had like no depth. Like, I didn't care about them as people at all. I was just
like, who are these people?
Like, it was cool that they were trying to have a strong female main character, and she was pretty cool for who she was.
She was quite cool. Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Felt like I didn't know her well enough.
Yeah, same. I felt like she was just kind of there.
And I thought it was neat that they really basically...
Yes. What? I was just going to say, I did really like her first scene where the guy is like they're having this conversation, and she's just like, oh, in the time that we had this conversation, I picked this lock, and then she just escapes. That was a fun little moment that I enjoyed about her character. And I liked how she was quite like, you know, smart talking, and she wasn't just like a girl.
She's a horologist. You know? Oh, what I was going to say is I like that they basically gave her like Orlando Bloom's original plot from the first movie, which was because she was like, my father is honorable and blah 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 blah, and then they're like, no, your father's a pirate. But then she's like, okay, yeah, and she takes his last name. She does the whole Titanic thing where she's like, yeah, I'm gonna take the last name and I'm gonna own it and be all right, cool. My father's a pirate and I'm gonna make the best of it. And although I thought it was really strange the way Barbossa died, because I know it was symbolic. It was like, I'm dying for my daughter, and it's like, oh, how sad, hooray! But like, why couldn't he have just like kicked Salazar off the rope? Like he like grabbed him and fell with him, and I'm like, you didn't have to do that. That's dumb.
Because movie dramatics, Well,
and I think what's his name, Jeffrey Rush. I think he was done. He probably didn't want to be in the next movie. Yeah,
it made sense. That was the only surprise in that movie. I didn't expect that to happen, and that was kind of cool.
But I liked it. I enjoyed it. I had fun. And
I totally get that. I think it's just because I'm a cynic, and I'm not that into I don't like the way Pirates of the Caribbean. I don't know. I don't like how everything the physics of things. There's a point, right, where you can break the laws of physics to a point. And if there's magic involved, I don't care, right? The moment magic is involved, I don't care. But the bank thing immediately throws me off because I'm like, that physics, that doesn't make sense.
Oh, yeah.
There's no magic here.
That did bother me for a minute.
There's no
I was like, you have like 4 horses dragging an entire building filled with gold. Yeah. Like, and it's breaking other buildings. I'm like, what? Yeah. No! What are these horses made of?
I was like, it's kind of funny, but I was also like just taken out of it by that. But like, I think for the whole movie, I get your point. Like, it's an entertainment movie, and to me, it was entertaining in parts, but there were other parts that I was just like, this is a drag, and that made me aware of the flaws.
It's funny that you say that about, like, going back to what you said about, like, the physics and how, like, it was too outlandish and it bothered you. That's funny, because that's the kind of stuff that normally bothers me. But it was just so funny looking to me that I was like, I don't care. I'm just gonna laugh. But yeah, I think it's like it was probably like my second favorite Pirates film. But probably just because it was simple enough for me to understand. And the way I described it was not as good as the better parts of movies 2 and 3, but a lot better than the worst parts of movies 2 and 3. So it's almost like in the middle of those two for me, because I didn't love the way the trilogy, the first 3 ended. It was just a little. I guess. It was a little much.
Yeah, like all the stuff with the sea god woman was a bit meh. Yeah. I thought in the third, but the third one holds a place in my heart because it has one of my favorite shots in cinematic history, and that is the one where everyone meets on that long beach to make a deal, and then they all double cross each other, and Davy Jones is standing in a bucket, and that is one of my favorite. Just as a shot, just the pan across, revealing Davy Jones in a bucket. Beautiful, love that scene.
I want to say they're really well written, but I keep finding things online that says, like, oh, remember this scene? That was improvised. And I'm like, what? What's the truth? I don't know.
Oh, classic.
I was really happy with the very end about the whole reunion, and they like found each other finally, and like, I don't know, that tugged at my heartstrings. Where
that was cute.
you got your big actors who were only in 2 minutes of the movie, and yet they steal the whole movie.
Yeah, it was okay.
I would watch it again just for fun. It's simpler than movies 2 and 3, so it has better rewatch value, I think.
Yeah, I'm not sure I will ever watch it again, but it was fine. I really like the visual effects on all of the enemy pirates, like Salazar, because Salazar was the only one whose hair was like drifting and floating because he's the only one who drowned. It made sense, and it was awesome. Like their ghosts existed.
Oh, is that why he was all floaty? Because it was like he was constantly under his death water.
Yeah, like they were all in the states that they were when they died. So like the one that with no head, you see him lose his head when they flash back to it. That was cool. I really like that. I thought that was pretty cool. Awesome.
And what does a skeleton order when he goes into a bar? A beer and a mop?
Oh.
The great thing is the joke wasn't as funny as the fact that there was a prisoner like 4 cells down who laughed at it. And we got a Beatles joke. That was Paul McCartney. Did you know that?
Yeah, I knew that. I know
was
things.
Amazing. I don't know what you know.
Well, I knew he had a cameo ages ago, and then I forgot. And while I was watching it, I was like, "Oh my god, that's someone famous. Who is that?" Because I'd forgotten that Paul McCartney had a cameo. Yeah. And then I looked it up afterwards.
Well, I'd wondered what that scene was about. I was like, why is this random character who's supposed to be Jack's uncle, and like, why is he never coming back? Like, shouldn't that be important? Then someone told me that was Paul. I'm like, oh, it's amazing.
Well, it's because some other rock star, I forget which one, was his dad in like the third one or something.
Oh,
man, Pirates is dumb.
It is pretty ridiculous. I was unbelievably giddy though every time they played the Pirates theme, because
the Pirates theme is hype.
I love that song. I can play it on my ocarina.
Great. You're such a nerd. That's like the nerdiest sentence I've ever heard. Like, is I can play that on my ocarina. Like, man.
Well, I can. Well, see,
so lame.
I played it on flute when I was in high school band, and that was one of our like big medleys that we played a lot. So that's why that song is a special place in my heart. And so I just take the same like notes, and I can.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair. Anyway, Pirates finished with the next movie that I watched was a movie that everyone said was, this movie's garbage, this movie's terrible, don't go and see this movie.
Man, this month is just about like you being your expectations being raised or lowered by other people. Maybe you should just form your own opinions and not put them up against other people's expectations.
No, I love it when this happens because everyone told me this film was garbage, right? And I love going into a film because I form my own opinions, right? but there is a little bit of like, if everyone's told you something's garbage and you go in and see it and you're like, I'm enjoying this. You're like, you enjoy it more because you're like, I thought this would be terrible and it's not. Yeah, it's a film that's okay. Like, I would give it, like, on an objective level, I would say it's an okay average film, but I enjoyed it slightly more than that because I've been told that it was terrible and my expectations were set so low. It is The Mummy with a Tom Cruise. It's okay. It's a fine movie. There's Tom Cruise runs away from a mummy.
I know nothing about the Mummy series. Is this even part of the series? Is it a reboot?
Allow me to educate you on The Mummy. And the Dark Universe and Universal's big old plans and schemes. Okay, so you know how Marvel has popularized the cinematic universe idea, right? So everyone wants cinematic universe. Universal was sitting around and they were thinking, what rights do we have that we can make a cinematic universe out of? And they thought to themselves, monster movies. So they have all of the rights to all these classic monsters, right? They've got like Wolfman, Swamp Monsters, friggin' Invisible Man, The Mummy specifically. They've got like Dracula, I think, because they made all of the like classic.
I didn't know they had a rights to the monsters themselves.
I think so. I'm pretty. Oh, and they got Jekyll and Hyde, I think, as well. Or they own certain things that they can use. Or they were like, or that stuff's public domain, and they were like, let's make a cinematic universe out of it. Why not?
Okay.
It's something like that. Basically, Universal were like, what can we grab and clutch at straws for? So this movie isn't part of the existing Mummy, Brendan Fraser universe.
I hate Brendan Fraser, and I don't know why.
Classic.
I think
it's a complete like rebooting of the concept of the Mummy. It's like a new film, but it's the start of the Dark Universe, which is what Universal are calling this cinematic universe. And I wanted to see it just because I wanted to see how they were going to set up the Dark Universe, which is a dumb name, but I will use it. Everyone's like, we should just call it the Monster Movie Universe because that's what that should be called. But I'm like,
that would have been kind of cool, actually. That would have been like
Universe,
classic 80s movies status.
Because I mean, it basically is just the classic monster movie cinematic universe. But the term Dark Universe actually makes sense when you see The Mummy. They explain it in universe why it works. So like, basically, I'm gonna spoil The Mummy. Who cares? But if you do, go timestamp stuff. Spoiler warning. Basically, Tom Cruise, he gets cursed by a mummy, blah blah. She's chasing him down, zombies. She can resurrect some death being because of him. It's okay. Like, the main plot is like kind of okay-ish, right? The cool thing about this film is the setup of the Dark Universe with Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, who are in this film as like the Nick Fury of the Dark Universe. Like, you know how Nick Fury was like in all the films, but he didn't have his own film and he was kind of there?
Yeah.
Basically, the idea is Dr. Jekyll, in London, he runs this thing where he sees evil as a disease. He sees all the evil in the world is a disease and it needs to be cured. And his whole thing is like, the darkness will seep into the world and I'm gonna stop it. And he has this facility made to like catch and like cure or kill off evil beings and monsters, right? And you know, he's having to like take all these medicines to like suppress his, and you don't find out that he is Dr. Jekyll. I mean, you did because casting notes, but in film you don't really find out that until you meet him properly and you're like, oh wait, that's Jekyll, oh my god. And he like takes this thing, like he starts like almost going to hide and then he has to like stab himself, inject himself. And it's really cool. Like, in his facility, you see like a vampire skull and like hands in jars of like swamp things. And it's like, these people have been hunting monsters. And they're like, Tom Cruise, we will help you with this like mummy curse. But they want to kill him and it's like a whole thing. But there's one scene where Tom Cruise's character gets locked in a room with Jekyll and he doesn't have his serum and he turns into Hyde. And oh my god, this is the best scene in the film. Like, I would almost recommend seeing this film just to see how just well Russell Crowe does the Mr. Hyde scene, because oh my god, it's good.
Oh, it's Crowe? Oh, neat.
It's so
honestly
good.
I became a lot more interested as soon as you said Jekyll and Hyde were in this movie.
Yep.
Because I love that like old classic. That's Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, isn't it?
Is it? I didn't know that.
I could be wrong, but it's like it seems like it's from the same time period. I love
it's around that era.
Old, like,
yeah,
monster mystery, like, scholastic stuff. That's kind of neat. Like,
yeah,
monster universe. I wonder if they're gonna make other monster movies in this cinematic universe.
They're totally doing it.
I am a little intrigued.
They've got Johnny Depp to play the Invisible Man coming soon, apparently. I want them to do Frankenstein. I think that'd be really cool.
Frankenstein has been done so many times, and it's never been done right.
Yeah, well, they're taking like creative liberties on everything, as far as I can tell. And because Jekyll and Hyde isn't perfectly how Jekyll and Hyde should be, but he's done well. So I'd be okay with them doing Frankenstein and doing it if they do it well. I think that'd be really cool. I think it's a decent start to this dark universe. I think it's cool. Problems with the film, though.
Monster universe.
I hated its sound design because. Okay. Point number one. A lot of Jekyll's lines, or some of them, sounded slightly different, and I feel like it's something that most people won't pick up on. But some of them were slightly bassier and like more gravelly in his voice, because I think they'd ADR'd them, so they'd replaced the dialogue in post, or like it was for voiceovers and stuff, and they'd use like a different mic setup, and they hadn't like corrected it properly to match it, so it sounded slightly different sometimes. And sometimes it'd be like he'd turn away from camera and he'd say something, and because they've like added that in post, like added that line in post for ADR, it sounds slightly different, and it was really annoying me. The other thing
I feel like that's really cheap. Like they must have like not had a very good sound designer.
Yeah,
or an editor.
That,
you know?
Yeah. The other thing about the sound design is that it's so screechy. Everything in this friggin' movie screeches. There are crows that screech. The like zombies that the mummy keeps raising screech. There are jump scares where it just screeches and it gets really grating, because I'm like, why do zombies have to make a screechy noise? Why do they do that? It doesn't make sense to me. Like, why would they do that? They don't need to breathe, so why are they always like screeching? In my notes here, I've written, and something that I forgot to mention when we were talking about Wonder Woman, so I'm going to bring it up now. I've written the sentence, it was almost as grating as the Wonder Woman theme, which, my God, I hate that theme in that film. It was so grating. Yeah, I
honestly can't recall it to memory right now, so
it's so
don't
grating.
know what you mean.
It's that like really high-pitched guitar thing that just feels so forced in every scene it's in, and everyone's like, oh my God, the use of the theme was so cool, it was so powerful, and I'm like, no. It was grating, it was screechy, it was forced, it was disgusting, I hated it.
It must have not made much of an impression on me.
Garbage. Also, something about the mummy that no one will notice, but I noticed it and it annoyed me. So basically, there is a point where they emerge from all of Jekyll's lab is like underground, and they emerge from underground and they come up in the Natural History Museum in London. Like, it's underneath the Natural History Museum, which is cool, right?
Yeah.
So they're in, basically the Natural History Museum has this big central kind of hall where that's like the big entrance hall. There's no like exhibits, but there's like pathways going off onto the side. So they start at the bottom of that hallway, and up the top there's like a balcony area with hallways going off. They start there, and then it cuts to a running shot of them running through one of the hallways on the top level, and then which doesn't have an exit at the end of it, right? That hallway does not have an exit at the end of it. It's just an exhibit hall. And then they're shown running out of the front door, and it just navigationally doesn't make any friggin' sense. Like, that they would, because it's so hard to explain without like a floor plan in front of me, but like, they're on the ground floor. The exit is like I don't know, a minute away from them, then the door that they eventually exit through. But for some reason, it cuts to them running through a hallway on like the first floor. It's ridiculous. It makes no sense. It's so stupid. And if it, like, for anyone else, they'd just be like, that was a cool shot. But for me, I'm like, that doesn't make sense. Why? And it really
that would have bothered me too. Like, they can't run that fast.
Yeah, I was like, they wouldn't take that route. Why would they take that route? This is stupid. This doesn't make sense. But yeah. So that's The Mummy. I got 3 more movies to cover, but oh boy, I'm going to really quickly run through them.
Okay.
The next one is Gifted. It's a film in which Chris Evans plays an uncle who takes his niece into his care, and she's like real smart, and he should have let her go when she was really young, but he just couldn't, and it's really powerful. It's really emotionally powerful, and it's just like a cool guy fighting. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was great.
Okay.
it was like Chris Evans delivers really powerful performance.
And what's her face, Jenny Slate, isn't it? She's not a comedian for once, which I thought was an interesting role for her. Yeah. And that woman from The Help and Hidden Figures, Octavia Spencer? Yes.
I think.
I wanted to say Octavia Butler, but she is an old sci-fi author, and that is not correct.
Yeah. But it's a good movie. I enjoyed it. There are some really good moments in it.
Nice.
It's quite touching. The one thing I do think is hilarious, though, is there is a scene where he argues with his niece about something, and I don't want to spoil anything because like I'm not going to go that in depth on this film. But while they have this argument, and it's like supposed to be this really dramatic, like, oh no, he's upset her, and they've fallen out, and they shouldn't have moment. But she's watching Ice Age, and as a fan of the Ice Age franchise, I was sitting there like, this is Ice Age 1. This is the scene where they're going down the ice floe, and like, and I could tell. And there's a point where like it pans up to Chris Evans like standing next to the TV, looking real sad. Like you're supposed to be like, oh no, Chris Evans, how emotional. But you can see like Sid slaloming in the corner, and you can just vaguely hear Sid going like, slalom, yeah. But it's like, oh, well, now I'm just out of the scene completely. I cannot take the scene seriously, and it's just ridiculous. It killed me.
That's funny though. I love those stories where you have like a child genius who's like, I know like high school algebra and I can solve the mysteries of the universe, but I also want to watch Rugrats. Like, oh yeah, they are still just a child after all.
Yeah. It's a good film, good story. I enjoyed it. The next film I watched is widely considered to be one of the worst films of all time. The masterpiece from Tommy Wiseau, written by Tommy Wiseau, produced by Tommy Wiseau,
who the heck is Tommy
directed by Tommy Wiseau, starring Tommy Wiseau.
Who is Tommy Wiseau?
He's the guy who wrote, directed, produced, and starred in The Room, the greatest film of all time.
Goodness, here we are.
I made you watch a little bit, some like clips from The Room before we started. 2 minutes of it. And I assume, what did you think? How good do you think this movie is?
Well, it seems like they recorded all the dialogue and then dubbed over it.
Yeah.
Just mouthing the words.
Hi.
Can I help you?
Yeah, can I have a dozen red roses, please?
Oh, hi, Johnny. I didn't know it was you. Here you go.
That's me. How much is it?
It'll be $18.
Here you go. Keep the change. Hi, doggy.
You're my favorite customer.
Thanks a lot. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Yep.
And it was a lot of that movie like green screened because the background was really bleak and strange.
What do you mean?
You can love someone deep inside your heart, and there is nothing wrong with it. If a lot of people love each other, the world would be a better place to live.
And the way the camera moved and the way the people were interacting with each other, it reminded me of a mix between like old 70s sitcoms and like where they're just being so overly cheesy with each other. And I can't remember what I was mixing that up with, but it was really strange.
Why did you do this? You know better, right? Why?
I'm sorry.
You know better, Daddy. You almost got killed.
I'm sorry. It won't happen again, I promise.
Denny, you know that Johnny's like your father, and we're your friends. We're gonna help you.
Yeah. So basically, this whole film is made by this one crazy man who just had a vision, and it tells the story of Johnny, the nicest guy ever that everyone loves, and he's always nice to everyone. He's a great guy, played by the guy who wrote the film. What a self-insert. And his girlfriend. The plot, this is like an hour and 40 minutes, but the plot could be covered in like a 20-minute video. Basically, Johnny has a girlfriend called Lisa. Lisa is falling in love with his best friend, but wants Johnny around for or everyone's telling her to keep Johnny around for financial stability. She doesn't want to because she's just randomly evil and horrible and like the worst person ever. And then she keeps sleeping with his best friend. Eventually he finds out, and then he kills himself. And that's the plot.
Shut up! Shut up! It's over! It's not over. Everybody betrayed me. I fed up with this world.
But it's littered with just terrible dialogue. Sometimes just the same. There's like 4 sex scenes, but sex scene 1 and sex scene 3 are the same sex. Like it's the same two people, and they just use the same shots.
The exact same shots?
Exactly the same footage. It's amazing.
Like they couldn't have sex another time?
No, apparently it was really uncomfortable the first time. The girl didn't want to do it again.
Is that true? Did you look that up?
I've heard that. I don't know if it's 100%. I can't verify
That's
it.
funny.
But, like, there's... The writing is horrible. Like, Tommy Wiseau delivers lines that he wrote like he doesn't understand them. So he'll just be, like, mumbling his lines. The way he talks is just weird and mesmerizing. Like...
What kind of movie are we gonna see?
Well, we'll see... Danny, don't plan too much. It may not come out right.
All right, let's toss the ball around.
Okay.
I'm sure people, if you haven't seen the Room or any clips from The Room, just Google The Room funniest moments. You can find some hilarious Johnny Wiseau moments.
Wow.
Of just him being like there's one scene where like he his girlfriend is saying that he hit her. And he just comes out of the... Oh, by the way, they are on like the roof of the building a lot. And
yeah, I saw that clip.
The stairwell to the building. The stairwell to the building. When they go down it, they turn to the left, but that's where the edge of the building is, so it doesn't make any physical sense. But yeah, like there's a scene where he just comes out and he's like, "I did not hit her. I did not hit her. I did not." And the way he says that line is just so funny.
Did not hit her. It's not true. It's bull. I did not hit her. I did not. Oh, hi, Mark.
Like it's just hilarious. Like it's funny to watch because it's so just good bad.
So is Tommy Wiseau like unbelievably rich that he was just able to get people to go along with his stuff?
Yeah.
And he just acted in his own movie and produced it, because how else would that have gotten made?
Yep. There's one scene where like two random characters just show up and sexually eat chocolate, and that's just it. There's one scene where one character was supposed to be in the scene, but the actor was doing something that day. So they just have some random guy show up and be involved in the conversation, and it's so weird
because they just eat chocolate in a really sexy way.
Yeah, one guy's like, "Oh, chocolate's the sexiest food," and then like she goes down on him, and like his face is just so hilariously like stupid. The whole thing was just so dumb. Oh my god, you were just building to that, weren't you? Friggin'. Come on. Oh, there's a random scene where they're just randomly in suits playing football. It doesn't make any sense. You're just like, why are they in suits though? Why are they in suits? And then they're not in suits anymore, and you're like, why were they in suits in that?
So what is The Room? Why is it called that?
I assume because it all takes place in... I mean, it doesn't, but like a lot of it takes place in like Johnny's apartment. And that's like The Room, I guess. I don't know. There's this character called Denny, not Danny. The whole time you think he's called Danny, and you think he's called Danny, and they're just saying it weird. No, his name is Denny with an E. Why?
I know someone named Denny. It's a name.
No, I've never heard the name Denny.
It is. It's a name. Where do you think you get pancakes?
From... No, I can't. I was trying to think of a pancake place, but we don't have pancake places in this country. We don't have Denny's.
How sad.
Why would we have Denny's?
Where do you go when you're sad and depressed at 3 a.m.?
I just... to my...
Oh my gosh!
Cutting that joke. Cutting that one. Cutting it. It's cut. I'll get rid of that. Not having that. Or if it's in, good job. Anyway, yeah, The Room is bad.
Okay, now I have to start a pancake restaurant called
The Room is bad, but... On my official ranking list, I've ranked every single movie I've seen. It is still not the bottom. There are 3 films that I disliked, that I thought were worse films than The Room.
Than The Room?
Yes. Those films are 50 Shades of Grey, Silence, and the worst film I have seen this year. I've been saying Silence will not be beaten in this regard. The whole year I've been like, there will never be a film worse than Silence. There is one. We got one. We found it.
Got one. What is it?
The film is called My Cousin Rachel, and it's the most tedious, horrible period drama piece of garbage I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, that sucks. I like period dramas.
It's such trash.
Was that in theaters or was it like an older one?
It is here. We saw it in cinemas because we were like, I don't know.
But like,
anything
it's
about this
new.
film,
It's
so
not like
that's
a
it.
random old movie you watched.
Yeah, it's brand new. But yeah, it's
so what's
just
it
the
about?
worst. It's about a guy he was adopted by his cousin, who is like a super wealthy guy and owns an estate. And his cousin got ill and went to Italy and married this girl called Rachel. And then his cousin died, and like there were these cryptic notes from his cousin who had a brain tumor or whatever, saying like, "Don't trust Rachel, she's evil." But then Rachel shows up and she's super nice. But then there are all these clues. Maybe she's actually is evil, but maybe she is nice. But it ends on a we don't know, and I hate that because I have nothing wrong with ambiguousness in a film when you can draw your own conclusions, right? Like,
right.
2001: A Space Odyssey, for example, I can draw my own conclusion. I can look at all the clues within it and I can work out something for myself.
Sure.
With My Cousin Rachel, there are clues towards her being a nice person who wasn't interested in the money and wasn't trying to trick him and was just a nice person. And you can draw the conclusion that she was an evil poisoner who killed his cousin and was trying to kill him, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the clues, the evidence for either side of that, they're both solid. So there's no like, I think it's this because it's all laid out for you. There's no like working it out or interpreting things differently because it's all just there. And it could be either. And it's not like, and like the writer has decided on your conclusion. The writer has decided you will either think this happened or this happened. Whereas with like 2001: A Space Odyssey, it's like Kubrick is like, think what you want, I don't care. You know?
Yeah.
It's up to interpretation, but there's infinite, like, you can draw whatever you want from it. You can take the clues to mean whatever you want. Whereas with My Cousin Rachel, you can take the clues to mean either she was good or she was bad, and that's it. It's not up to interpretation, it's up to one of two. It's purely binary, and it's all just stupid, and it's pointless, and wastes your time, and there's no payoff to anything, and it's just so boring. It's painful to watch, it's boring. I hated it. I didn't think I'd hate a film more than Silence, but I hated that film.
Wow.
So much. It was nothing happened. And it was just no characters had any, they were so wishy-washy all the time. There was nothing to gain from it. There was nothing to, it was just
What's
bad.
weird is it sounds like there wasn't even enough to it to like explain well why you hated it. Like every time you talk about why you hate Silence, like you have good reasons to hate Silence, but it's like it's hard when you watch something and it's just so nothing. You're like, I can't even, like, I shouldn't even hate it as much as I do because it's just nothing.
Yeah, like there's nothing distinct. I just did not enjoy watching it at all, in the slightest. The whole time I was like, I don't care where this is going. Waste. I don't care about these people. I don't care. Like there was an inkling in the back of my brain of like, if this has good payoff, then this is fine. Because like when like the first act of something or the first two acts of something are kind of boring, but then the payoff comes and it makes it all worth it, that's fine. I'm okay with that. But there was no payoff. The third act was as dull and dreary as it just nothing happened, and they didn't conclude anything. They just kind of left it up in the air, which is garbage. Like in the context of that story, I hate it.
How weird.
So bad. But that's all the movies that I saw this month. I have on my bingo chart, one of the squares was the IMDb worst 100 list, and obviously, you know, The Room is on that list.
Nice.
So cool. That's covered. I didn't do anything else. I said I would, but like I've been so busy making my own film, as I said, so I couldn't do it. I just was
when
going
your
to the
film's
cinema
done, you should put it up on our page.
Well, I was gonna. The thing is, I think I might submit it to short film festivals, and they won't accept something if it's been posted online already.
Mm-hmm.
So I won't be doing that. But after a while, if I just get rejected by a bunch of film festivals, then I'll put it up on a YouTube channel and link to it.
Can't wait to see it.
I'm really proud of the script, and I'm really proud of how it's turning out. So hopefully, once we've shot it and edited it, it's good. Like, I'm holding on to hope. I'm excited. Yeah. So yeah, that is the month. That's all I've watched this month. I will try and watch more next month because I'll just be editing. Yes, you.
Was a movie called Megan Levy in theaters for you at all, or have you heard of that?
I have never heard that title.
Okay.
Ever.
I was I don't know. I didn't know if it was in the UK or not. I was guessing if it was, you'd probably seen it. But I mean, that was a movie I saw this month, along with Pirates and Wonder Woman, and it was about this girl, this 20-year-old girl who went into the Marines because she didn't have anything in life, and she ended up becoming this was during, what was it, the Iraq War,
right?
And she ended up becoming a handler for this bomb-sniffing German Shepherd, and it's strange because it's all about her dynamic and relationship with this dog who she's scared of at first, and then she bonds with because people bond with their dogs, and then they go through the war together, and they both get blown up and hurt, and then she goes back home, but the dog has to stay and go to Afghanistan, and then she wants to adopt him, and they're like, you can't adopt the dog because he's a warrior now and he's not a pet, and we'll have to put him to sleep if he bites a child or something like that. And she's like, no, he's good, he's fine, I want to adopt him. And she goes through this whole thing where she has to talk to a senator about getting petitions to adopt this dog that she loves, because she has this background where her best friend died because of a drug overdose, and she never loved anyone ever again, but the dog taught her how to feel love again. And it's very emotional and very, very sweet. And strangely, I thought it would be appealing to the dog lover in me, which it's funny because I know that you do not like dogs, so I don't actually, come to think of it, you might not even like this movie because of that. But it was a sweet film just because, I thought if I cried and got emotional, it would be because it was a dog, but it was less about, cute puppy, and more about this girl's struggle with just learning how to have feelings again. And it was a cool film. I really liked it. I would watch it again.
Cool.
So that was QJ's movie time. No, no, she ends up being able to adopt him and lives out the rest of his life just as a dog, and is fine.
That's pretty.
And
cool.
They have real clips of, it's a true story. So
yeah, no, I've got the Wikipedia page open.
Oh, gotcha.
Tom Felton's in it. Yay! He's Draco Malfoy.
Oh
yeah. Cool.
Yep, that was QJ's movie time.
Movie. I remember you saying you were going to see. I remember you saying you were going to see a dog movie, and I was like, she's talking about the dog's purpose, because that movie looks terrible.
Yeah. No.
Good. I'm glad it wasn't that, because I would have if you had said that you watched that, I feel like we would have ended up arguing, because that movie looked like garbage.
It did look like garbage.
It looked like it was. It
looked like a movie that I would have liked when I was 6 years old.
Yeah.
A dog is becoming another dog every time he dies. That's nice. I don't know.
Yeah, it looked like it was just trying to emotionally manipulate dog lovers, and I'm so against that. It's such it just preys on people's weakness.
It's pretty cheap. It's pretty easy.
It's just emotional.
Yeah, Megan Levy didn't do that.
Sucks.
It was cool. About an actual human connection with her experiences and stuff.
Yeah, that's really cool. I will look out for that, but the Wikipedia page doesn't have a release date for outside of the US, so it probably
that's because it was American wartime. You're not interested, I guess.
Whoa, hey. Hacksaw Ridge, best film of last year, I'll have you know.
Heck yeah.
Or this year? Wait, was that this year?
That was that, wait.
No, it was this year.
That was World War January. I, right?
What, Hacksaw Ridge? I thought that was 2, because it was the Japanese.
I don't know. I get them mixed up. I think it might have been.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was
so
2.
bad at history, but
it was America,
either
Japan.
way,
I don't think you fought them in
Britain was involved in those wars, so.
Yeah, but we were barely involved in Hacksaw Ridge, so.
No. Whatever.
But yeah.
Hacksaw Ridge was so good.
Hacksaw Ridge it's I don't think it'll get topped unless Spider-Man: Homecoming or Thor: Ragnarok are better, which they might be. Hacksaw Ridge will be my favorite film of this year. It's still at the top seat there. I don't think that the top 3 will ever be beaten this year. Hacksaw Ridge, Lion, Manchester by the Sea. I don't think anything's gonna top that. At all.
Weren't those last year's movies?
No, they were January. They might have come out in the US last year, but this year they came out in the UK.
The beginning of 2017 has been really long. A lot of it I keep thinking was last year.
Yeah. Although I feel like Lego Batman movie is going to get dropped off of the number 4 spot fairly soon. I feel like Thor Ragnarok is definitely going to hit that, right? It's got to. Same with like.
I hope so.
Yeah, but good.
You know me, I'm tentative, reserving judgment.
This year's been pretty good for movies. Like we're halfway there. Whoa, we're halfway there. I love that song. Why do you not like it when I reference?
I don't know.
Bon Jovi's "Living on a Prayer." Why are we still talking? Outro. Episode is over.
Know. And I think Hacksaw Ridge and some of those movies were last year technically because they were in the Oscars for 2016.
I mean, they were released.
You just have
in the
Britain
US
has wrong dates.
Yeah, we just get delays, I guess. I feel like, but they were also released just before the Oscars, so they were like January releases.
They count as last year's movies because of the Oscars.
Yeah, but according to Across the Pond, they count for this year because
Across the Pond is way more accurate than the stupid Oscars because
the Oscars take place in February, so it doesn't.
Yeah.
January releases count as the last year, apparently.
The more countries you have involved, the more right things are.
Yes.
What words?
Multiculturalism. Good.
Yeah, mixing the melting pot or whatever.
Outros. Come on, what are we doing?
Outros.
Anyway, everyone.
See you around, everyone.
Watch The Room.
QJ will have an extra long episode next time to make up for the sad lost footage.
And we're gonna argue about Iron Man 3, the worst film.
Goodbye.
Bad film. Hated it. Bye.
Bye. Stupid.
Leave me a comment saying what film you want me to watch as well. Unless it's like Baby Geniuses 2. I'm not gonna. Don't say that. But yeah, leave me a comment. I haven't had any. Bye.